Men's emotions do not matter. Okay, so this is a post from this group, He Says. I've been following this page for a while on Facebook. Kind of interesting because this guy's giving, guys manly, masculine advice. But yet, or he's supposed to be giving guys manly, masculine advice. But yet he posts a lot of stuff that seems very blue-pilled, right? So this is what he posts here. He shares this link to an Ohio man charged with killing ex-girlfriend while kids at school. I didn't click on the link, so I don't know the details of this, which I probably should. But I'm not going to talk about this case specifically. I don't know if they had these kids together or whatnot. I don't know if she's a single mom. That does matter. There's going to be details in there that matter, which I didn't touch on because I really want to focus on this. Okay, so basically this has been happening. Like, guys have been killing girls and they've been blaming the incel community, or they've been blaming, mad men, but nobody's taking a look at, the fact that what are these women doing to these men, right? We have a female culture out there that really does not care about men, does not care about our emotions, does not care about our hearts. They do not care about us. Okay, all they care about is themselves and their children and our money, right? They care about what we can do for them. Okay? They love us for what we do for them. This is a red pill truth, right? So this keeps happening and people keep blaming the man, and it's like, yes, the man is to blame. Like, that's not a good reaction. I'm not at all encouraging that, not at all saying that's okay. But nobody's talking about how women are treating men. Nobody's talking about the red pill aspects of a relationship from a female standpoint. What is the woman bringing to the relationship? How is she affecting it? So let me read this blue pill stuff, what this guy's talking about. He's one of these blue pill wannabe alpha guys, kind of dabbling in red pill concepts, but really he's blue pilled, and you can tell. Unfortunately, here's another young sister tragically murdered by her ex-lover, who is a black man. We've been seeing way too many of these tragedies in our community. This is the result of poorly developed black men who have never mastered manhood. These are men who never mastered their emotions and feel the need to reclaim their pride and dignity after a breakup through violence. There is a direct correlation between the prison population and fatherless men. When boys do not grow up under the authority and guidance of a qualified man, his odds of becoming a criminal increase dramatically. This is why we continue to stress the importance of selecting quality, proven men to become fathers. Boys need to be raised with their fathers inside the home. Boys need to learn emotional control from their fathers. Too many of our boys are raised in single mother-led households and miss this lesson, which is why a lot of our young men are quick to emotionally react in a tragic and violent way. Prayers to this young sister for her family and for her children and her family. All right, there's a lot to break down here. Let's jump into it. Okay. So unfortunately, here's another young sister tragically murdered by her ex-lover, who is a black man. We've been seeing way too many of these tragedies in our community. Whether it's a black man or not doesn't really matter. I mean, this is something that's affecting all men. You got that one guy who was a self-proclaimed incel. Forget where he's from, but he was a white kid. So it's, color doesn't matter here, but apparently the guy who wrote this is a black guy, whatever. We've been seeing too many of these tragedies in our community. This is a result of poorly developed black men who never mastered manhood. Is it really, though? Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's the result of poorly developed women of all races who never learned how to be loving, who never learned how to treat men right. Have you thought of that? That's a red pill, right? Now, I'm not saying that there's not a problem of, single moms out there. I'm not saying that a lot of young men aren't growing up, who really don't know how to master their emotions. I'm not saying that per se. But that's very one-sided. This is very one-sided, right? Of course, she doesn't take any blame. Women don't have any accountability in this equation. Is that what you're saying? I mean, that is just hyping up the gynocentric, this gynocentric power system where women have no accountability, no responsibility, and men have to do everything. That is gynocentrism at its core. Men as utility. And women know this. This is part of the problem, a major part of the problem. It's not to say that maybe this guy wasn't emotionally damaged. Maybe he was, irrational. Maybe he did have irrational emotions. I mean, when you kill somebody, that's tough. But I will say that women can push you to your edge. Women can ruin you emotionally. Women can make you want to kill yourself. Many men kill themselves after they get dumped by a female. And there's so many different aspects to it, because it's like we live in this scarcity world where most men do not have access to any women. Like 80% of men out there are not even considered physically attractive, let alone financially attractive to women. So most men are in a scarcity mindset, and then when they finally do get a woman, and they act all like, oh, if I finally got a woman, and they put her on a pedestal, and then she's no longer attracted to them because this is not how women work, right? And then she dumps him, and then he's distraught. Many times they kill themselves. But nobody talks about that. Nobody cares about it. They only care when a woman is killed. Then it's a problem, right? Then it's a problem if a woman is killed. But if a man commits suicide, don't even hear about it. The only way you'd hear about it is if you joined a red pill group, because they're the only guys who are talking about it. Men are committing suicide like crazy. I think 75% of 3 out of 4 suicides are men. Women aren't committing suicide at the same rate, not even close. That men are committing suicide because women are a special class. They're a privileged, protected class. So, all right, let's go on. These are men who never mastered their emotions and feel the need to reclaim their pride and dignity after a breakup through violence. How do you know it's pride and dignity? How do you know that? You don't know this guy. It might be that she just hurt him so bad that he couldn't get over her. He couldn't get her off his mind. And she did him so dirty. Have you thought about that? And what's wrong with men having emotions? Oh, so men can't have emotions. So if a man has an emotion when he's dumped, he's wrong for that. So that's part of toxic masculinity, according to the feminist definition of toxic masculinity. The feminists define toxic masculinity as people making fun of men for having emotions. And so now you're saying that, oh, he's too emotional? Makes no sense. Let's go on. This is a direct correlation between the prison population and fatherless men. I think there's definitely a correlation there. I think that statistically, men who, men and women, but men proportionately who come from broken homes tend to make up the majority of men in prison and who commit violent crimes. That is true, right? But what role does women play in this? They play a big role. They're the ones initiating 80% of divorce. They're the ones who are ruining men financially, taking his money in divorce court, right? But we don't talk about that because that's, again, it goes against the gynocentric order. It goes against the gynocentric power system. When boys do not grow up under the authority and guidance of a qualified man, his odds of becoming a criminal increase dramatically. I mean, there's probably some truth to that. I mean, a father is very important. I'll say that. This is why we continue to stress the importance of selecting quality, proven men to become fathers. Okay, but, that sounds like elitism. That sounds like that sounds like you're playing into gynocentrism. So that's blue pill stuff, right? So you're trying to qualify yourself to a woman, which puts her on a pedestal. What does she bring to the table? Is she quality? How does she treat the father? Does she have morals? Does any of that matter? All you're talking about is the male responsibility. You're not talking about the female responsibility. All she has to do is show up. Boys need to be raised with their fathers inside the home. Well, maybe, but if the father's a quality father, and we all know what that means when it comes to, the matrix and how women view it, meaning he's got to provide resources, he's probably not going to have a whole lot of time to raise the kids inside the home. He's going to be busy. He's going to be at work. He's going to be stressed out. Right? Which is the role and responsibility. See, so much is put on the shoulders of a man in our society, and it's just sad. But yeah, women have no responsibility, right? All they got to do is show up. That's it. Boys need to be raised with their fathers inside the home. Boys need to learn emotional control from their fathers. Okay, but again, there's nothing wrong with emotions. It's just how you deal with your emotions. It's, if someone does you dirty and you feel betrayed and you feel stabbed in the back and she absolutely ruined your world, that's a tough one to come back from. I'm not saying I disagree fully with that. I'm just saying that, it's not that men shouldn't have emotions. We need to be in touch with our emotions to a certain degree, so that they don't consume us, so that we're not crushed by them, so that we don't become stoic weirdos, so that we don't become, emotionally unavailable. See, this is the double standard. This is the double speak, right? On the one hand, they say, oh, men need to control their emotions, yet women are always saying, oh, you need to, show your emotions. I want you to be emotional. So it's like you can't win. You can't win. Women are always encouraging us to touch our emotional side, bring out our emotional side. But yet when we do, then what, right? Oh, now we're effeminate, or now we're too emotional. It's like, yeah, obviously this guy took his emotions too far. But we don't know what she did to him. We don't know how she could have cheated on him, did him dirty, gave him STDs, right? Totally just ruined him emotionally, because this is what happens because men, we're not naturally that emotional, but we do have emotions, right? So when we do fall in love with a woman, and we love a woman and we want to give her our all, our emotions become involved. And because we're not used to our emotions, a lot of times we don't know how to handle that. And if she does us dirty, then all of a sudden we're like, damn, I thought I had love, and now, I got done dirty, and now what, right? So we don't know how to deal with it. Maybe she ruined his life. She ruined, But nobody's saying anything about that. He just takes full responsibility. He takes full blame. It's all on him. She was just totally a saint. We don't know. I'm not saying that she did do it, because I don't know, right? But there's plenty of women out here, plenty of toxic women out here that are bragging about taking men's souls, right? Bragging about hurting men, bragging about, I broke his heart, as if like being a heartbreaker is some kind of good thing. People brag about that. It's sick. Who is that? Brittney Renner? Brittney Renner, when she took that, recently that NBA player, and she got pregnant by him and then married him, and then 2 weeks later divorced him, and now he has to pay her $200,000 a month in child support. And she's acting like she won the lottery because she's, jaded and she did him dirty. I remember I saw a video of her like 5 years ago. She has some video out there where she's talking about her lay count or something, and she's talking about taking men's souls. She's bragging about it, These women out here, man, people just don't get it. They don't understand that there's nothing nice about these women today. They're not kind, sweet, innocent people. That's not what they are. And now, I'm not saying in this particular instance that this woman was, I don't know what she did to him. Maybe he is just a monster. I don't know, because I didn't read this. But I'm telling you, plenty of women out here that are doing men dirty. Too many of our boys are raised in single mother-led households and miss the lesson, which is why a lot of our young men are quick to be emotionally react in a tragic and violent way. Prayers to this young sister for her. Okay, I mean, again, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not saying that, maybe he was raised in a single mother household, and maybe, but she takes no responsibility, right? Again, she just, nobody's looking into how she treated him, right? Everyone's so quick to chastise men, but they overlook how women are purposely hurting men and discarding men who love them, right? Women are out here purposely hurting men, purposely discarding them. And even if it's not purposely, like maybe she didn't mean to hurt you, she's just totally selfish. You just didn't give her what she wanted, so she left. She just discarded you, right? So I don't think there's anything wrong with being emotional. I'm not justifying what he did, but why is it that hurt men are supposed to just get over it, right? We're supposed to just turn our emotions off, and nobody cares, how hurt you get, right? But if a woman gets dumped, everyone talks about how bad the guy is and comforts her, right? Everyone's like, oh, are you okay? Oh, the whole world stops. All her friends talk about how much of a jerk he was, and she deserves better, and she's such a queen, and, she can get over it better. Plus, she can move on. She has tons of options. When guys get dumped, we go into an existential funk, right? So there's just double standards all throughout this. The real problem here is that nobody cares about men. No one cares about men. And women just use us and walk all over us. No one cares, unless we're paying the bills, unless we have resources, then we matter, right? All the way up until a man does something drastic, and then they demonize us, right? But they never offered us help. They never offered to love us, right? That's just what it is. Sad story. It's going on all the time, but again, nobody cares about men. Nobody cares that men drop off the face of the earth. Nobody cares that men commit suicide. Nobody cares that women are using us as parasites, right? Or like parasites. They're using us for our money and using us for our resources, using us for our fatherly ability. Like he says right here. He says it right here. When boys do not grow up under the authority and guidance of a qualified man, so you got to be qualified. So finding love is like a job interview. You got to be qualified. This is why we continue to stress the importance of selecting quality, proven men to become fathers. Oh, so you got to jump through her hoops, be quality and proven because the child matters so much. And then you just got these guys who are designated betas, and a lot of times the kid isn't even theirs. They're just a surrogate daddy. And she chose him because he's got all his ducks in a row, which I'm not saying men shouldn't have their ducks in a row. I'm not saying men shouldn't pay bills, not saying men shouldn't have quality careers, not saying men shouldn't have nice houses and have their stuff together, have good character. Everybody should have good character. That's a good thing. But that's all a woman wants you for, and she's not going to love you if you don't bring that to the table. Well, that's parasitic behavior. That's what a parasite is. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Appreciate you listening to Jay Lee Northwest Podcast. Peace.